Howdy there, Young and Silver Mongoose here, and I just got back from one of my classic 10-hour days, and before I start, I wanted to do a really quick video and ask you guys your opinion on something. On hype versus being surprised in a game. Now, I was thinking about this because there have been some games over the past few years that I've purposely stopped myself from seeing anything about, in hopes that I would be very surprised whenever I played the game. Because as a kid, there was no internet. I didn't have Nintendo Power. Most of my friends weren't, in the know when it came to new games that were coming out. Typically, I knew a game was out whenever it was in my hands and I was playing it. And, that was fun. And now that I'm an adult and I find myself, liking games differently, or on a different level, it's difficult to explain, but you guys know what I'm talking about, you're older now. You feel differently about video games, and I feel that maybe I've been doing this to try to capture some of the old feeling that I had as a kid when it came to video games. And then this morning, I was watching the Nintendo Direct for Mario Kart 8, a game that I previously was not really avoiding, but I wasn't really looking into it. I didn't really know much about it. I knew about a couple characters and that there was the anti-grav and stuff, but they talked about a bunch of new features, some cool items, some cool new characters, and now I'm super hyped for this game. And it really just got me thinking about the differences between being hyped up for a game and, just avoiding stuff to be surprised. Because sometimes when I avoid stuff, like right now, the new Smash Brothers is coming out, I'm avoiding all information that I can. Some stuff is leaked out, I know that Little Mac is in there and Rosalina's in there, but for the most part, I don't really know much else about it because I'm trying to, rekindle whenever I was a kid and I was playing the first Smash Brothers, I didn't know anything about it, and then Challenger approaching, there's Ness and Samus and Captain Falcon and all these characters that I didn't know were in there, or I didn't even know who they were. And I tried that with Brawl, but people just spoiled it all for me. So I'm trying to do that with Smash Brothers, the new one. I don't know anything about it, really. But then I'm worried that maybe by not hyping myself up, I may not like it as much. I did that with Skyward Sword. It's not the greatest game. That's pretty well established that it's not the greatest game. It's definitely not the greatest Zelda game. I didn't really enjoy it. And maybe if I would have hyped myself up for it, I would have liked it more. And then the other part of me is like, well, then you're not really liking it more. You just think you're liking it more because you're expecting it to be better. And then the other half of me is just saying, well, does it really matter? I think back to one of my favorite games of all time is Pokemon Silver. And that was probably one of my most anticipated games as well. I spent, months just, scouring the dial-up internet for even just a screenshot and, reading Nintendo Power and talking to my friends about it. And does it matter that maybe that game isn't as good as I think it is? No, because I enjoy it, and it's one of my favorite games. And then I think back to games that I have been hyped about. I remember being really hyped about the Mario baseball game on the GameCube. I was so hyped about it because I read about Nintendo Power and stuff, and then I bought it and I was just like, it's okay, so hype can be great in the sense that it can make you like something more than you would have previously, but it has the downside of you're losing the surprises, and you might actually be more disappointed in a game than if you weren't hyped up and didn't know anything about it. And I think back to some of my favorite games, like Ocarina of Time and Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask on the 64. I knew nothing about those games. I didn't even know, I played Zelda 2 way back when I was a kid, but that was so long ago that I didn't even make the connection. I didn't know that Ocarina of Time existed until I was playing it. And I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know that it was Zelda. And same with Majora's Mask. I didn't know it existed until I just saw it in a catalog or something. And I said, oh, I'll put that on my Christmas list. And then I got it, And those are some of my favorite games of all time. because a lot of times people chalk up, you know, the scores and how much people love games like Ocarina of Time or Final Fantasy VII to just hype. You know, people were so excited for it. Those games were so crazily advertised, and you know, people were so pumped to play those games that people think that maybe they like them more than they would have, and it's true. And I know I'm talking in circles here. This is what happens when I don't write a script or notes for a video and I just talk. It ends up being a bunch of blab. So I have a bunch of questions for you. If you could answer them in the comments, if you wanted to, you know, maybe just have a discussion about this. Is that, you know, did you, as a kid, were you one of the kids that were in the know? Did you know about everything that was coming up, or did you just kind of play what was, you know, in front of you, what was at your friend's house, or what your parents bought you for Christmas or whatever? And have you ever purposely avoided information about a game so you'd be surprised? You know, and anything along those lines, like some of your biggest surprises in games, or some of the times you can remember being so hyped for a game and that it either lived up to the hype or completely failed and really let you down. So, or, you know, anything related to those topics. I just want to talk about this. I thought it might be interesting. So, hype versus being surprised in games. This has been Silver Mongoose Videos, and we're Classic Gaming, never gets old.